Let me switch now to Prof. Korte. I'll take all the concerns that come to you, Dr. Duchu. I know that some of them need to be addressed immediately, but I'll crave your indulgence. Prof. Korte, so in your opening remarks, you said you also have challenges with free SHS implementation.
Yes, to re-emphasize my point, I said I support the policy of getting everybody to school. There's no two ways about that. But then, quickly, I think I agree with Kofi that we had systems which worked, which produced some of us. I went to one of the best schools in the UK, Warwick and Manchester, and I competed with all the people out there. And I believe our young ones here can equally compete when they step out there. So we haven't maintained the systems, but we still have something that is good, and let's be proud of it. Implementation, I had issues. One is the funding. I don't think the current system is sustainable. The government can struggle and struggle to defend it, but from where I sit, I don't see this sustainable. And I've offered some suggestions. Why not target means testing? Sometimes we throw our hands in the air, you cannot identify people. It is not true. We have LEAP. LEAP has over 240,000 beneficiaries. It is one of the well-targeted programs Ghana has ever had. I've spent over a week or more in the villages assessing LEAP, and they will tell you it is the computer that selects them, and they believe that those that have been selected are the right people. So if you have 480, 240 we've been able to target, why can't we scale it up and target SHS students? We can do this. I don't think we should. Another option would be for us to target grade C and D schools and say, look, these schools are free, because they don't have the numbers. So if people go there, they are free. Otherwise, if you go to a grade A school like Achimota and Wesley Girls and whatever, why do you pay Kofi Bento's son's school fees? I meet him at Achimota. Why do you pay his fees? I mean, I don't think we should do that. There are other things that he would rather prefer government does for him. Provide ambulance for Kofi Bento when he's ill, so that he can be, provide a hospital bed. So I think targeting can be done properly. The last one, the third option would be to have a scholarship scheme where those who cannot afford means there's a scholarship scheme, and then we can, there are other options that we can discuss. Support from parents, I don't find that, and I speak from experience. I've been the House PTA chair for Achimota School for 4 or 5 years. When we went in there were several things. We paved the whole compound. We got them a pitch. We got them a generator. We got them a borehole. There was even an e-library that 10 of us bought computers, renovated. Parents are willing to support. Then we have Form 1 parents who come in. It's agreed that you pay 300 cedis each Form 1 parent. That's the money we use to support the school. We were providing them with dispenser water, because parents were bringing boxes of water. If you go to the housemaster's lounge, fill with water, fill with fizzy drinks. And we said, no, let's provide dispenser water. Through these levies, we were providing that. Later, we were told to write a letter, seek approval. We did. It was turned down. So parents cannot support the free SHS system. We want to help. Government cannot do it alone. It is our country. We just want to help. Prof, so I believe there are things we can...
If you make that categorical statement that government cannot do it alone, would you then say that we did not scrutinize or question the policy enough at the beginning, so that when government said, I am taking it on at the beginning of 2017, we should have seen it from the beginning that this is not going to work?
No, at the beginning, I never foresaw a situation where government was going to take on everything. I thought PTA was going to do what they were still doing. So for me, later when I realized there were things we couldn't do in the House,
that was a limiting factor.
That was a limiting factor.
Okay. I want to move on to Mr. Hafar now to take your concerns in a few minutes, specifically on the policy.
Yeah, there's a point that Bento raised in terms of management of the schools. And it's good to know that you scale those kind of errors. And I went to Fansman School, the same school that the young man went to. But I'll tell you.
The best school ever.
But I'll tell you this. I was teaching English in the United States. The people that I was teaching, and also the teachers, about 100 teachers, I was one of the few who were selected for a program called GATE, Gifted and Talented Education. And then I had people come to ask me, are you sure you came from Africa to teach us English? Then I'll tell you this. They spoke better than I did, but I knew the mechanics. I knew the mechanics, Papa. There's no two ways about it. But then the issue was this: how was I educated? And it comes to the question that you raise again: management of the schools. Now, this is a perennial problem. It was perennial then, and it's still here. And the issue is this. And again, you know, the work that I do, where I train teachers, I've gone all over the country, from Accra all the way to Wa and so on. But then the attitude, again, it's a Ghanaian problem too. The attitude in terms of how schools are mismanaged, where the concern is, there's no concern for the well-being of the students. I will tell you this, you know, I keep saying at my age, I turned 71 in April. I can't lie. You know, I have to the truth about this, that we don't seem enamored enough with commitment to help our young people. That is the point. I've gone to schools where there are no toilets, and I'll tell you, nobody cares. And nobody cares, meaning this: the parents themselves don't care, because the issue is this. Here you are. You have a child who's going to school, and you'll be there, or she'll be there, from about 8 to 3 p.m. And human beings have to attend to nature's call. Where are they going to go? Parents themselves don't care. Now, the issue is this. What if it's a girl who's in a period? What does she have to do? These are the larger questions that have to be addressed. Now, I went to France, but I also started school in a bush, a place called Tutuka, you know, Boise. I don't know if some of you guys know it there. It was one room, no toilet. So if you need to ease yourself, you go behind a tree, ease yourself, and you pick the closest leaf and clean yourself with it. And we're smelling all the time. You know, these are the larger issues that society has to be able to grapple with. Now, having said that, who are the people who manage our schools? You know, and you realize that it's someone who's probably taught mathematics and been very good at it for about 10 years, or someone who's taught integrated science, has been good at it, and so on. Things have changed. We need a caliber of qualified people who can show leadership in terms of managing the schools. And they don't necessarily have to be teachers. And now let me give some example too. You know, we had Reverend Lockhart, who was one of the people who produced Francis Bartels, who produced Kofi Annan and the rest of it. He didn't teach, but he made sure that every teacher was on task. The instructional strategies were together. The pedagogy was together. And that no absenteeism, and then there was no presenteeism. You know what presenteeism is?
Yes, sure.
The person is there, but they're not going to do their work.
So Reverend Lockhart, in that example, he showed ownership.
Yeah.
It's more serious than absenteeism. You have no idea. So he showed ownership. Mr. Afa, I'll steal a few minutes of your time because we want to get a few more thoughts on this. Dr. Amma, the challenges that Mr. Hafa raised are very similar to Ray. You will remember that series of stories we did after the rollout of free SHS, where we went and we reported on shortage of infrastructure. There was this young lady in a certain senior high school in the Eastern region who said that when she has to ease herself, she puts it in a polythene bag, she winds it, and she throws. I'm quoting him. So it seems like these challenges were there with us, and they seemed to be more pronounced with the free SHS policy. Would you agree with that?
Well, thanks very much. I think that the problem was already there, and obviously when you have an expanded access to secondary education, you have extended enrollment, and so there's going to be some pressure on existing facilities. So to that extent, you will say that, I mean, the facilities are not adequate to accommodate the increased enrollment. But we have to also look at it from contest. I believe in what is workable, and what in philosophy we say pragmatism, what is workable. You have a government that has a political commitment to open access to secondary education. Secondary education, which many people have been denying for many years, is a structure in nature. We design a system that says that some people must go to secondary school, some people must not go to secondary school from the onset. And so when we set up the BEC system in the 1987 reform, the whole arrangement at the time is because of lack of facilities and lack of spaces. Very few people must go to secondary school. And therefore, you have roughly 60% of the students writing BEC obtaining the qualifying grades to go to secondary school. And even that, because of limited facilities, you will get less than, you get roughly 40% of them going. You have people with a grade 36, but they can't make it. And so, in most cases, all the people, many of the people having access to secondary school are the people who had opportunity to attend the best private schools, because there's already lack of public trust in the public school system at the basic school level. So the people who managed to go to private schools, and especially the top private schools, and got good grades, they are the people who transit into secondary school. Now, there's an issue of building second-class citizens here, because if education is a means of bridging the poverty-rich gap, then it means that you start from, you are from a rich family, relatively good family, you manage to start KG, finish secondary school, and go to university. So that's been the system.
And that was a problem.
And that's a problem.
Yes. So
and therefore, so the government, so the government says that, look, we want to open access to secondary school, and we want to start in 2017. Now, in program implementation, obviously, even if you had piloted it for years, you're still going to have a problem. So what's important is that you have started, you identify the problems, and you continue to deal with them. So it's anticipated, and even if we had done piloting, we will still have a problem. Now, let me come to the issue of targeting and the rest. IFS has been...
Can we leave that for your second round when I come back? I want to have the Deputy Minister address them. It's almost 11 a.m. I want to have the Deputy Minister address that specifically. So I cataloged some of the challenges that came up. Means testing should have been applied. Double track should have been foreseen. We had Prof. Korte give us four different ways that we could have supported the free SHS policy with outside funding. Did we not see any of these?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I'm sitting here, and I look through the lens of equity, and the comments that are coming is telling me something, and it's profound. When I heard Prof. Korte say that make category C and D schools for free, code word for saying consign the poor to the poorest performing schools. Terrible. Let me tell you, whatever way you look at it, if I'm poor and I'm sitting at home, you are telling me that Achimota is not for you. So when people talk about allowance to pay, let me tell you, allowance to pay, if your child was sent to Antoine Senior High School and you are asked to pay, would you pay? It's when we tell you that you can pay for your child to go to Wesley Girls. That is when you say, I'll pay. What we are saying is this. We're not going to create second-class citizens anymore. We've done that for 60 years. When you talk about a system, the system that was catering to the training of the brightest among us, students with a grade 36 are cut off from the system. They can't go to senior high school, and they happen to be from the poorest of families. Is that a system? A system that says that if you get a grade 30, you dare not go near Achimota because you don't belong there. Is that a system? We have a serious equity problem in this country. We are all living in jails in our homes, burglar-proof everywhere, afraid of our own shadow, because those children that we cut off, they hit the streets, they got resilient on the streets, and they are coming after our monies. It was about time we did something different. It was about time we look ourselves in the mirror and said the elite of this country had had enough. And those who are poor should be allowed to get into the secondary education space. And that is why I like the determination of our president who said, let us do it now. Free senior high school now. We've done some kind of piloting for 60 years in the northern part of this country. And when I hear people talking about it's going to break the budget in the most difficult and challenging times in the history of this nation, we never touched the northern scholarship because we knew it was the right thing to do. In 2017 and 18 budget, we have 899 million allocated to free senior high school. But you know what? If free senior high school had not been there, we still would have spent 350 million on secondary education. The net effect of free senior high school was 500 million. Yes, granted, it's not a chicken change, but it's the right investment to make in the youth of this country at this time, so that nobody will say that I was left behind and I did not get the opportunity to go. We talk about means testing. I know about means testing. In the United States of America, university education is based on means testing. If I sit next to my brother here and we get the same score on the SAT, I may go to a public university for free, or even private for free, based on need-based scholarship. And he will pay everything because he happens to come from a rich home. When you get accepted to a university, the first thing they ask you to bring is the tax documents of your parents. That's the first thing you report to any senior high university with your tax document. They look at how much your parents earn, and it's okay, there's grant for you, there's scholarship for you, and this journey, you have to pay everything because your parent is rich. And it's possible because everybody files for his taxes. You have to file your taxes.
I get your point.
So when we talk about LEAP, I know something about LEAP from my constituency. LEAP. People who are getting the LEAP were from certain party. Unfortunately. So if you want me to use LEAP to determine who goes and who doesn't go, I'm going to have a major problem with that in terms of education. And I'm talking as education first before politician.